Hi, it's Nikki here from Happy Hormones for Life, and in today's Lunch and Learn, I wanted to talk about goal setting because we are just about to hit the end of June, which is the first 6 months of the year. And I don't know about you, but I always kind of plan by calendar year. So we are looking at our half-year achievements, against our goals for the second end of the second quarter, and despite 2020 being the craziest year ever, um, we are well over and above our targets for half the year. So that's brilliant, and I'm really pleased about that. However, there is no complacency whatsoever. The whole situation is very unpredictable. So, just because we've had a good few months does not mean it's going to continue, especially, with the economy as it is, and, for people coming off furlough, etc. So I'm under no illusion that things are going to be easy or plain sailing or whatever. So we are absolutely goal setting for the next 6 months, as we would always. So today I just wanted to talk about the half year review. And if you're running a business, you really probably, well, I'm the worst at planning, I have to admit. I'm not a very good sit down and plan type person. I'm much more of a just spur of the moment kind of, I'm much more impulsive. But I've learned over the years that it's really, really important to plan. So I kind of make myself do it. It's really hard sometimes, but I do. I have to sit down and actually put some time in to do the planning. And what I found is when I actually do that, make the effort to plan and to goal set, it absolutely makes a difference. Everything is more structured. There are, there are plans for everything that we want to achieve, and it's much more likely to happen if we've done the planning. The other thing that I do quite religiously is every quarter I do a review of that quarter. So get to the end of the quarter and look back at what the goals that we set at the beginning of that quarter, and whether we've achieved them, and what worked, what hasn't worked, and all of those things. Because it's really, really important in your business to remember to kind of reflect on your successes, things that haven't worked so well, what you're going to change for the next quarter, what your objectives are for that next quarter, because things change through the year and your objectives will change, and so will your goals. So it's really important to reflect and make sure you're congratulating yourself and enjoying the successes, and B, then look at the future and what you can improve, change, or do differently. So when it comes to goal setting, there are many, many, many different ways you can do it. And over the years, I've tried quite a few of them. The one I found that really works for me is from the book, The One Thing. I talk about this book a lot. It's by Gary Keller. And if you do any of our courses, this is on the reading list because it's so useful. And in there, they talk about goal setting. Now, the one thing is all about doing the one thing that's most important right now, because there is only the present. So we can look into the future, we can look back at the past, but the most important thing we're ever doing is in the moment right now, today, in the next half an hour, whatever that is. So goal setting, they always recommend that you do goal setting in a similar way. So they have a process. So I'm just going to run through it because I think it's brilliant and it works really well for me in terms of motivation. So first of all, goal setting is really important. So all successful people have plans, and they hardly ever stay the same. So it's really important to have your plans, but also be very flexible around them, and they can change as the wind blows and whatever happens in your business. But it's important to follow a path and have a direction to follow, an end goal, if you like, because otherwise you can go in lots of different directions. You end up in rabbit holes, you get distracted, and it ends up being much harder to achieve your goals. So what Gary Keller suggests in The One Thing is to start with your really, really big goal and then work backwards. So when you have a reward that's long way in the future, so his is a someday goal that we start with, the further away the reward is in the future, the smaller the immediate motivation is to achieve it. So it's really, really hard to think, oh my goodness, I want to have a multi-practitioner clinic in 5 years' time, or in 10 years' time, I want to sell my business. Whatever that goal is, it's really, really hard to motivate yourself today to achieve that massive goal in the future. It's just too much for our little minds to cope with. It's just too overwhelming. So the thing is to have that goal, but to go backwards stage by stage, that you go from big to small, and it's a much, much easier way of achieving your goal. So you break it down to the smallest thing, and then it all builds together to the big thing, right? So you have to go through all of the steps because, like I said, it's very hard to motivate yourself today for achieving that someday goal. But if you do it this way round, it works really, really well, and you've got your goal set, but it's much, much more achievable. So the first thing to do is to set your someday goal. Okay, so this is the goal years and years into the future, that you want to achieve one day. You can do some journaling around this because it's quite difficult to look that far ahead. But this is all, the whole mindset around this is very similar to the Tara Moore book in the playing big. So we can't play small here because we have lots and lots of time to achieve this someday goal. So I want you to really dream big as your imagination can handle. Go as big as you dare and then go bigger. So tackle those inner critics because they are definitely going to be showing up and stopping you here because they're going to be telling you that that's not possible, you're never going to be able to do that, and all of those things. So the inner critics will be crying at you and screaming at you here, but I just want you to ignore those and just pretend and go big. So that's your big someday goal, right? And then the next step is to create your 5-year goal, because that someday goal may take 10, 15, sometimes longer than that, right? So your 5-year goal is based on that one big goal. So what's the one thing I can do in the next 5 years that will move me towards my someday goal? Okay, now you've got your someday goal and you've got your 5-year goal. And then from that 5-year goal, the next step is to create your 1-year goal. So based on your 5-year goal, what's the one thing you can do this year, in the next year, to achieve your 5-year goal, right? So now you've got your someday, your 5-year, and your 1-year goal. Now, the next step is your monthly goal. So based on my 1-year goal, what's the one thing I can do this month to move me towards that 1-year goal? Okay. And then when you've got your monthly goal, you go down to your weekly goal. Based on my monthly goal, what's the one thing I can do this week to move me towards it? You're starting to get the feel for this, right? From the weekly goal, you go down to your daily goal. So based on my weekly goal, what's the one thing I can do today that will get me towards my weekly goal, right? And then the last step is getting yourself in the now, present moment, your right now goal. Based on my daily goal, what's the one thing I can do right now that will get me towards my daily goal? And that is as simple as, putting that one task in that will get you your daily goal. So it's really, really simple. And once you go through all these steps, you're going to have a very, very clear path and a very focused path. The thing with this method is it's incredibly focused, one thing at a time. And it's these baby steps, these small actions that build and build and build into the big goal. And that's what you'll achieve one day if you just do this process. So, what the thing you have to do with this is to write it down. So for every step of that process, you need to write it down and review it as often as you need to, so that those goals are always on track to achieve those big goals. And doing it this way, you train your mind on how to think, how to prioritize the now, but also how to connect the now, the small goals, with the next ones and the next ones. And this is how you learn to think big, but you do it in a small, gradual, consistent way. You connect your today to all your tomorrows. Love that. Love that phrase. Sorry, nicked it from the book, but I love it. Connecting today with all your tomorrows. So I hope that's been useful, and I'd love to see what you do with this, because it can be incredibly powerful for your business planning. And best of luck with the next 6 months, or the next, at least the quarter, if you can do that much. Take care. I'll see you soon.